I'm Nick with Worship Artistry, and today we have a very, very, very special guest to me and to the Worship Artistry channel, actually, and his name is Kurtis Lamberton. And I think somebody actually would probably confuse it with Kurtis Lamberton, because I do know sometimes in his videos he calls himself that. But the company is Lambertones Pickups. But yeah, today we're here with Kurtis. How you doing, Kurtis?
I'm good, Nick. Thanks for having me here. I appreciate it.
Well, the one reason why we're doing this, I'll explain to everybody. And Kurtis already knows, right? But like, I was down at his shop. When was that? That was 1st of January this year?
I think it was a week or two later than that because it was like the day or two before NAMM.
That's right. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Man, I can't believe it's already like almost April as the shooting of this. Yeah, March like 24th.
End of Q1 already. It's wild.
That's crazy. But I was going to make a bunch of content around NAMM, and I did some interviews with Kurtis, and I did a shop tour with him. Yeah. And I met, I believe, your employee, his name is Drew?
Drew, yeah. You met Drew. Yeah.
Drew, yeah. They were very cool. I really liked him. But I failed at making the content make sense. And so that's why we are doing this today. So thank you, Kurtis, for allowing me to interview you again in a much better way, hopefully.
Anytime, dude. And hopefully next time you can do it in person, because obviously it's more fun to have you here. But
yeah, absolutely. And next time I won't have such dumb ideas. So anyway, but yeah, let's just jump in. So I think everybody on the channel probably does know exactly what you do, but go ahead and just tell us what you do, please.
Sure. Yeah. So I build electric guitar pickups that are voiced for really open, dynamic, and clear, articulate guitar notes. And the way that translates to your mix is more headroom, saturation in your sound, but more clarity overall. And that happens to work really well within the praise and worship space.
It does, man. I mean, the first people, I used to work at worship tutorials. That's not a secret. I think a lot of people know that. And that was the first place I had heard them, but that wasn't the first place that I had heard of them. It was all over Facebook groups, and I wasn't playing guitar even at the time, but I was still a part of it in the shadows, from days of old. And everybody was like, oh, Lambertones. And I was kind of like, whatever, I don't care. And then I got to worship tutorials working there, and wow, I cared immediately. It was absolutely immaculate. Like the sound, like for me, for instance, I use a little bit more gain, I think, for like my worship tone. Yeah. I use parentheses because like I think it's silly. I think you can use about any tone you really would like to desire. To make it worship. Obviously, there are some tones that are less desirable than others.
Sure.
But why are we so limiting? So anyway, my worship tone, I do have a little bit more gain than a lot of people use. And that's what I love about, I have triple shots, blondies, and cremas so far. Yep. And every single one of them just takes it really, really well. And I love that. And I plug it into my Gibson. They are a little bit hotter output, not much, the ones I have. And I just don't want to play it. I really hate it. I'm going to be honest. I'm actually looking to sell it. So if anybody wants to buy a Gibson, you can hit
link
me
in
up
the description.
Yeah. But there's just something to it with your ear, I guess, because is that a big part of the equation? I mean, you don't need to give us like all your ingredients or anything, but like, why is it so good?
I mean, it's a good question, and it's an interesting concept of this marriage of artistry and then science. And so the way that I approach it, I think, is probably different than most. And I try to apply a scientific method towards the production, and so I test one variable at a time, which takes forever. There's a reason why there's only 7 core models on our site, and we've been here for 7 years now. So it takes a long time to do things well, I think. But yeah, I mean, the principle of like having more clarity and a dynamic range in guitar pickups really comes down to kind of assuming that that the player at the end of the day is going to add more on top. And so what I do is I try to artificially apply an EQ curve that's going to be complementary to what someone might put on top of the raw guitar signal, if that makes any sense.
No, it does. Yeah. Interesting.
So yeah, that's one way that I kind of approach it. I mean, there's another part of it that I'm not sure if I can actually related to the success of Lambertones, but I'm not a guitar player myself. I'm actually more of a drummer than anything else. I can strum a few G-shaped chords, but I really, I don't get lost in the tone sauce for the sake of playing guitar, if that makes sense. I can kind of separate myself from that and use a more critical listening aptitude, maybe. Because, I've been playing in bands forever and I know what I want to hear as a drummer from my guitar players. And I don't know, somehow it makes sense. And I can use that to voice the tones that we're going for over here.
Very cool. And were you a worship leader at one time?
Yeah. I guess I started leading worship in grade school.
Holy cow.
Yeah, long time. I didn't know that.
Wow.
So it's funny, my first band, I was in 7th grade and I was the front man and everyone who was playing with me were 9th and 10th graders. And so they're way taller, way cooler. And we played for this Christian festival somewhere in Oregon. What was our band? I think I forget what we were called, but I know that like we spent one afternoon like trying to find band names, in the Bible. And so we were flipping pages, and I'll never forget the name that I wanted to name our band was Holy Ship. And that was that was going to be the vehicle for our worship music. And
no way.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
So good thing it didn't work out, but I've been involved in worship music for a long time.
That's amazing. Dude, it's really funny that you were like looking through the Bible to me to find like the name or whatever, because totally different thing. But I was in a metal band. That's how I got started in music, actually. It's really funny. I just started playing metal, loved that, and me and another couple guys started a metal band. And we were flipping through a concordance, because my parents, we used to be, when I was a kid, very heavily into, the church, and then we got really hurt, and then we left that for a long time, but we still had all these old Bibles and concordances and all these things, and there was a concordance with only C words, and I was like, okay, well, that's very specific. So I started looking through that, found a word, and I was like, what do you guys think of this one? And you'll never guess what that word was. Chastity.
Okay.
And so we all agreed that was dope. We're like, whoa, that is so rad. It's like, let's use chastity. And so, we're touring around northern Indiana as Chastity, and it didn't work out too, and thank goodness. But like,
that's so
man, it was fun though. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I remember.
Foundational moments.
Yeah, it's so funny. That's really good. I was using at the time though, nothing cool like I am now. Just some cheap LTD guitar and like a full stack Randall that I had to reach up and like hit. It was just I would stand right in front of that thing all the time, man. Just like play big old power chords and think I was just
blow your hair back.
Just awesome. Yeah. So for somebody who has been playing guitar for a little bit, just whoever that is, it could be me, it could be John over here. They're looking to improve their tone somehow, and they've done amps, they've done different guitars, whatever. Maybe they've never done pickups, I guess. Why should somebody, and when should somebody look into getting new pickups, in your opinion?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think when your fingers have learned enough of muscle memory to not bend notes, to when you've not mastered, but when you've you've started to hone your craft of playing well in different styles, then I think it starts to make sense to start upgrading your gear to match the technique that's applied, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah,
You know, there's a huge hierarchy of gear upgrades you can do to make an impact, and they all arguably do build on each other. I think the guitar pickups probably make a bigger impact than most people want to believe, even though it's not like a sexy thing to upgrade. It's the foundation. It's the start of your signal. You know, it's kind of like a power supply on your pedal board, right? I mean, you have all of these wonderful things that you want to hear from, delay and reverb and overdrive and all this fun stuff. But like, if you have a shady power supply that isn't isolated and not, you know, giving the proper stuff to those pedals, you're not going to experience the benefit of what those could give you. And the same kind of principle applies with guitar pickups. If your tone source is not reasonable, if it's not within a window that you can kind of craft into the sound that you're after, then you're really going to struggle. And you keep throwing more things at it, and you end up over-processing. And so I think guitar pickups make a lot of sense within the praise and worship industry, especially because we like to over-process, we like to stack. Yeah. And if you have lower output style pickups like we specialize in here at Lambertones, or, you know, a similar, you know, style product, it makes it easier to add things along the tone signal journey without breaking things down and then start having a negative effect. Because there's a loss. At some point, you're not actually benefiting by adding more things. But like 99.9% of us are on this journey, this tone search. And it's not that we're unhappy with, you know, what we have, you know, a month after we got it. It's like, okay, I've learned more. I realize I'm not in this space where I appreciate this the way that I thought I did. And so I need to continue on this journey. I mean, you can apply that in any industry, whether it's sports, I mean, like cooking, upgrading your spatulas and your pans. I mean, it literally anything is kind of relatable to this tone search. And so starting with a really good foundation of your signal takes out an entire variable that you might not have to worry about later as you're making changes to your pedal board, as you're deciding, am I going to go direct? Am I going to use, you know, digital emulation, or am I going to, you know, go with authentic tube amplifiers?
I don't know what you're doing, man, but you're cooking up something, and I'm all for it. The next thing I want to get from you, I have an old 90s one. Old 90s one. I have an old 91 Samick Strat, like S-style guitar.
Yeah.
I found it at Goodwill for $30, and I upgraded the pickups right away to GFS ones.
Yeah.
So it was like $230 or something like that. So I'm only like $260 into this thing, and I've had it for over a decade. I've never set it up, never done anything with it, but it still plays really well. Even when I quit playing guitar, I kept it because I just, this is only $30. I love this thing. But I want to get like a HSS set up from you, because you do loaded pickguards as well, right?
Yeah, for sure.
What all goes into the loaded pickguards, or can it be as custom as you want it to be? Can it be, or is it like a standard thing?
Yeah, so I mean, there is some customization, but if it can't, it's not endless. As long as it's a Fender style, or, you know, Squier or Made in Mexico or Made in America or Elite Fender style, then the pickguards will fit. So within the pickguard shape, that's when you can get pretty custom with all sorts of like finish changes, you know, different like aging if you want like a more relic style look, even some wiring harness like options. So if you want coil splitting, or if you want to use our new partial coil split tuning system, which is really cool. So there's definitely some options out there, but at least within like the Fender HSS like style.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, isn't everybody? I mean, I know it's not like perfect, but that's what they're going for. These cheap, like this. It's just so cheap. I mean, brand new, that guitar is probably like $150. You know.
Yeah.
So I'm sure
that's the thing. I mean, one of our core like competencies at Lambertones is like elevating your tonal experience regardless of the vehicle that you put them in. And so you can have someone pick up a budget guitar like you did, you know, at Goodwill for $30. And then, yes, it for sure is an investment to put in a loaded pickguard or to, you know, install a pickup set yourself. But now you have the core sound of a premium guitar. Or if you have a premium guitar already that feels great, you know, doesn't really need anything else, you can put the same electronics in it and then you're just that much better. So it really is something that can grow with you, even going from, you know, guitar to guitar. But obviously, you know, one of the questions that I get a lot is like, hey, I have 3 guitars. Which guitar do I put Lambertones in? And
all of them.
Yeah, right? I mean, but really the way I answer that is like, okay, well, which guitar do you like playing the most? Because if you put pickups in a guitar that you don't really love playing anyway, like, okay, maybe you'll make it a little bit more inspiring to pick up. But at the end of the day, if you can raise the bar on something that you're already excited to play with, then that's going to be a win. And then you can look at those other instruments that are left over and decide, okay, I'm not really sure what to do with these now because I have something that really works. What am I going to have to do to make this play better so that it's worth upgrading sound wise? Or maybe I need to let this go so that I can, you know, invest in something that's better. The
biggest things I love about your brand, honestly, and this is not because we're doing this, it's you. You know, you are the brand, and you're just such a genuine person. You truly care about people, and you care about good things, and I like that.
Thanks, bro.
Like, because what people will see here in just a second is I'll showcase the shop tour that we did.
Yeah.
But you'll see, like, the viewer, like, this place is amazing. It's he's doing so much with, in my opinion, so little. Like, because like. It's a smaller place than I thought, but there is a really cool other side to the building that you're working on. Your brand to me is so big, and like you do things so well, like within this. It's not confined. It's not. I'm not trying to make this place seem small, or it's not. But it's like I thought you were just like a huge warehouse. Like, not kidding.
Welcome to Lambertones. So the process really all starts in this room where we'll wind the individual coils. These are some of the custom winders that we've built. One of the cool things about these machines is these base plates that allow us to clamp the pickups in based on the model. And that means that there's very, very tight tolerances from every wind, to the point where we've actually 3D printed and created different base plates for every single type of pickup that we manufacture here. And the whole point of all this is that it's the sum of the parts, right? I mean, the quality of the raw materials, how everything is assembled together, it all adds up and makes a difference. And the beauty about what we do here at Lambertones is super high precision, consistent from every single step from start to finish. We're even using these magnetically controlled digital tensioners that allow us to control the tension of the winding pattern to the gram as it's being wound at thousands of RPM. So some really cool tech being applied in order to create a consistent product that we have confidence in when it ships out the door. So this is an example of a coil that did not go well, and so it does not get shipped out because the pattern got messed up, and it affects the eddy currents, and will not give you the ideal tonal response that we are known for. So once the pickups are wound, we start the assembly process, and that usually goes on at this desk or across over here. When I first started doing this, I didn't realize how many parts and tools that are involved in making, I think, what do we have, like 7 different models, I think? That's about it. And yet we have literally hundreds of SKUs for the different like tools and screws. And so all of these boxes have very specific, parts for each of the pickup assemblies. If you look over here, we have these drawers that have all of these different parts.
It's like a hardware store.
It is actually it's like Ace Hardware here for
it's straight up
guitar stuff. And then in here we have all of our like custom laser engraved base plates for the triple shot set and the Blondie set. And so over time we've gotten more organized, shall we say. But yeah, this is where the main assembly happens for most of the models. And then once the pickups are actually made, then we travel over here to the other side of the shop.
To get coffee first.
Stop for coffee.
Stop coffee first.
Yeah. And then they go in the deep fryer.
No way. Is that wax? What is that?
Yeah, this is actually wax. So if you've ever heard like a pickup squeal in like an amplifier, that's called microphonic feedback. And so dipping the pickups in wax or some kind of like you can do like a paint finish also will hold those coils, those windings from actually moving at a very high frequency and keep it from squealing, but also keeps out contaminants like oils from your hands, dust and debris from years of playing. And so it really protects the end product, so you can have pickups in your guitar for 50 to 60 years.
That's crazy looking to me. Like,
this is literally a deep fryer from like a restaurant.
Really?
Yeah. And the reason that there's a hole over here is because this one caught fire, and so we had to throw it away.
How did it catch fire? It's just so hot, I guess, or I don't know.
Yeah, if you turn it on without wax in it, it catches fire.
Oh, yeah, that's how that happens.
Yeah. Oh, this is kind of cool. So we use laser machines to create some of the materials. So right now I just finished a job here making base plates for our Ristretto Jazzmaster pickup. But the biggest reason we have this laser is actually for making the packaging for all of our pickups.
Oh.
So we custom cut every single package insert of foam right here in the shop. We transform all the raw materials from start to finish right here in the shop, and then ship worldwide.
I really thought you cut those out with knives.
I used to,
but man, that'd be a lot.
Yeah, with literally like a razor blade.
Yeah.
Cut those.
I was like, you guys are so good at this, but got this fancy machine.
Yeah, that changed a lot.
I'm sure. What was one of the best things you've bought for production? Maybe?
There's no question. It's got to be this guy right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were showing Drew this.
Yeah. So this is an automatic wire cutter and stripper.
Oh.
And basically it allows you to program different lengths and different diameters of wires that you want to cut and strip. And so by pressing go, this will cut the exact length.
Wow.
Every single time until you run out of material.
That's amazing.
So actually, there was a Christmas, I think it was Christmas 2019, when I went on vacation with my family and I brought all of my cables. And literally, it was a family affair. We were cutting and stripping wires at the kitchen table over Christmas break.
So this thing
has saved my marriage. It saved Christmas. Saved Christmas.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Like, I think I saw you post about this.
Yeah.
And it's such a small thing, but it does so much.
It does so much.
You got all these reels.
Yeah, we got wire for everything. All kinds of different.
That's nice.
One of the other cool machines that actually I had custom made for me, which it's nerdy, but I kind of think it's cool. I'll show it to you. Actually, I'll show you the original process, and then you can see how we do it now, which is cool.
Perfect.
So this is a piece of what's called flat work. It's the base part of a Strat bridge pickup, and part of the construction of the pickup is adding the wires or leads to the start and finish, so you can solder that to your wiring harness. But you can't just solder to this material. You need to have something to solder to. And so we have to hand press. I don't know if you can zoom in there, Nick.
Got it.
We have to hand press these, they're called eyelets, into the material. That's because I keep moving it, sorry.
No, you're good. I see it now.
Yeah. And so doing this one by one is not only difficult on the wrist and hands, it takes forever. You know, you're doing this, you know, you're 30 seconds of a base plate or 45 seconds of base plate, and when you're trying to increase efficiency, you know, that's difficult. So we said, forget that. Let's do it better. So I'll show you that now. Come over here. So this is my new automatic eyelet setting machine. You pour the eyelets in the hopper up top here, and it rotates back and forth, and then those go down in this chute here. All of these little individual ones. And then I got a foot pedal here for when I'm ready to set it, but all you do is push it on here.
Wow.
And it does it for you.
That's so much faster.
So much faster.
Is it like better as well, or
it's
like,
consistent? It's consistent pressure with every single pressing. So you have very tight tolerance. I mean, that's the whole point, right? It's like every single process, I'm looking for a way to, if not automate, to make it consistent from each time that I do it. That way you can scale it. It's repeatable. You can kind of know, you know, because like, I don't know if you've ever ordered something and had, you know, called the company up like, hey, this isn't working. They're like, oh, was it made in 2017 or 2019? You're like, you know, should there be a difference? Well, there is no difference. So that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Nick, the next time you come here, we'll be in this side.
Oh my goodness, dude, this is huge.
I know. So the whole plan is to first have a kitchenette so we can actually like make our own food.
Oh, yeah.
Because right now we have a microwave.
We got that little microwave, by the wax machine kind of.
Wax machine, yeah. So we'll do kitchenette, and then it's going to be kind of a content studio for the rest of the space. So it'll allow us to bring in more artists for, you know, for gear demos and other kinds of fun content things. So this is what it looks like now, but it's gonna transform here very shortly. This is the test guitar for our Jazzmaster loaded pickguards, which is cool. But actually, funny enough, I have a different test guitar that I've used from day one. That if you want to see it,
I would love to see it.
Okay, all right.
I think everybody else would too.
All right.
Is it like a Frankenstein? Look at that! Look at that thing. It's just accessible.
This is the most garbage.
What was it? It was a Strat for real, or
no? It's totally fake. I mean, it's got to be fake. There's no way. I mean, it is
that neck
probably.
Yeah, I mean, I bought this in 2018 when I first started, and funny enough, I'm like, oh, I didn't know anything about guitar finishes and epoxy versus nitro, and so I put this thing in the freezer trying to do the checking, yeah, and literally it just cracked.
It's nice checking.
It just, and I needed to test different pick guards, and I did one custom job with like a 72 Telly pick guard, and then it didn't fit the Strat, and I didn't have enough money to buy a different guitar, so I just took the whole saw to it, and so I drilled these holes, and for some reason I still use this to test every single loaded pick guard that we make that fits a Strat.
That's awesome.
I don't know.
That's cool to me.
I've had people offer to replace it and give me a different guitar to do it, but I know this guitar. Sure. I've played this terrible guitar more than any other instrument that I own, and I don't know what that tells you about me, but at the end of the day, I want you to become more intimate with your instrument, because when you understand it better, you appreciate it more, and then you play it more, and you practice more, and then you play better, and you sound better, and then you can communicate to your church congregation or to your local communities in a more effective way. And I think at the end of the day, other than treating our people well and taking care of our families, like that's the biggest mission of Lambertones, is to empower the guitar player to be confident in their decisions and to pick up the guitar and be able to make change in their micro communities that they're a part of.
So Kurtis, what's one way, or do you have many ways, or how are people connecting with you these days?
Yeah, great question. So the best way to connect with us is by joining our email list. Sounds really boring, but if you do join, then you have a chance every 2 weeks of winning our flagship humbucker set, the Crema, which is really good. Cool. Yeah, it's a great compromise for sharing your email with me.
Compromise, yeah.
And then you can also engage with our social media platforms on Instagram and Facebook, but really the meat and potatoes are within the email list, and that's where our blog posts are pushed to. And then I'm really excited about a new project that I'm working on to give a pretty unrestricted insight into what it takes to craft guitar tone, showing some behind the scenes stuff, equipment, how things are done here and processed. And so I'm not ready to release that yet, but it will definitely be leaked to our email list first. So if you're interested in that, that's a great way to get in touch with us.
No, it's awesome, dude. I love your shop, and I love all the ideas that you have for the behind the scenes stuff, because seeing into your world and being in it, then gosh, that was so fun for me, because it was like a little kid in a candy shop. You were so excited to show me all your little tools and all these little tools. Like, there's some pretty big things you got there. And I'm like, what the heck does this do? And you're like, well, let me show you. My favorite part truly was the coffee, though. I don't know if I filmed that or not. I don't think I did.
Yeah. Well, you have to come back.
Is that right next to you, actually? Over your right? Yeah. One thing that was funny, you're like, how do you like your coffee? And I was like, well, I like iced coffee. And you're like, perfect. And I was like, oh.
I can do it all here, man.
So I thought you were being sarcastic at the first, because I didn't see ice anywhere, and I didn't see a fridge or anything.
Yeah.
And you're like, got an ice maker right here. I was like, what? What is this? Starbucks? Like, this is great.
Dude,
not Starbucks. I'm sorry I dissed you like that. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. The things I'm passionate about, I go all in, man. So
yeah, you do, and I love it.
I love sharing it with you. So thank you for coming.
Yeah, man. Again, thank you. So thanks again for sitting down with me, though, and allowing me to come to your wonderful shop, seeing your wonderful place in California.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. I super appreciate it. I loved having you here. I'm really excited to show you what's going on the other side eventually. Yeah. But yeah, just really thankful for you sharing a little bit of the story. And I love that I get to play a tiny little part of what Worship Artistry is doing. And so love your message and everything that you guys are working towards. So wishing you and Jason and the team all the best.
Dude, thank you so much, man. That truly means the world to us, and I can speak for Jason as well. Thank you, Kurtis, for everything, and we will catch you later, hopefully.
Sounds good, man. Thanks.
All right, man. Take it easy. Bye.